Good evening. It is 9:40, and we are watching the fireflies at Lebanon Hills again. Not sure how many we'll be able to see tonight, given how poor the air quality has been recently. But everything should be fine. Got a few things on my mind. One of them is how I keep my priorities centered with ADHD. If you know me in real life, you know that I generally don't enjoy if you know me in real life, you know that I generally don't enjoy putting that label on myself of having ADHD, but there are some times where it becomes very obvious that it is a deficiency, a disability sometimes. And one of those places where it's incredibly obvious is my priorities. It can be extremely easy to not go slow on anything at all, really. Whether that be a new hobby, and this can be particularly bad in relationships. I find it very difficult to move slowly on most things. Any sort of new stimuli or exciting thing, it's very difficult for me to move slowly on that. And I realized that I have developed some ways to regulate my emotions in such a way that I can move slowly on that. And I'd like to share that because I think that it could be really helpful for some people. So one of the things that I do when I'm hyperfixating, when I'm obsessing over something, I'm waiting for a response from somebody or something like that, I do a physical activity. I either walk, I'll go for a walk and think over something that I'm obsessing about, and that helps because it engages the other part of your brain. Science-y bits aside, it's just really helpful to go for a walk, get out in nature, try to sort out your thoughts like that. I've talked a lot about emotional regulation via taking these walks and praying, and that can be really helpful, but especially in those who might be more of the H in ADHD, that can be really hard. Those 7 minutes of silent prayer can feel like agony to try to focus on prayer rather than your mind drifting to obviously the thing that you're obsessed over right now, the thing that you're fixated on. And so when I can't do that, I will go for a walk, I'll do a physical activity. I recently learned about a method called the silent scream, where you tense up every muscle in your body and then just jerk your fists down in a very quick motion. I have not tried that yet. I don't necessarily want to start introducing something like that every time I get fixated on something. I feel like a much healthier outlet would be like a punching bag, something where you can get exercise in, learning a skill, learning how to punch and things like that. Very, very useful things. Even that I'm hesitant about, just because I don't know how I feel about the habit of getting overstimulated and then turning to a violent activity. Maybe I'm just being too cautious about it. Maybe I should give it a try sometime. I'm just hesitant about that. But that's one of the ways, is just to get energy out. Sometimes this is going to the gym. Sometimes this is going for a walk. And sometimes it's just doing like 5 jumping jacks and going to fold laundry, because you know that there's always a pile waiting for you, ready to be put away within the next 5 to 10 business days. But anyway, that's one of the ways. One of the other ways is after I can get that energy out, if I can kind of not distract myself from the obsession, but think through it. I shouldn't say obsession. That makes it sound really creepy. If that helps to distract from the fixation, then I can usually pray. the other thing that I've started doing is journaling. Now I know that all of this probably, if you're hyperfixated on something and you're really having a hard time moving that priority, it's probably going to sound really condescending to hear me say like, oh, well, just have you tried going for a walk, exercising, and journaling? Like, yeah, everybody says that. But I am here to tell you that there's a reason why everybody says that. And it's because it works. And so you should really do it. The other thing that I've found is very helpful is removing all other stimulus. It can be very helpful to help me work through all of the different thoughts in my head if I am completely blocked out. Now I'm talking like full nulling of the senses. I'm talking about an eye mask. I'm talking about laying on your back in your bed or wherever, put on an eye mask or an eye covering, and either putting on noise-canceling headphones or just playing white noise, turn on a fan, just sitting with those thoughts, really interrogating yourself about that fixation can sometimes help, and it does help me. And this can last quite a while, so I really don't recommend this unless you're off of work at the time, if you don't have anything pressing that you need to get to, because if you do, that could just end up being your whole day. And there was a time recently where that was my, 2 hours of just sitting there. And then the final thing is practicing something that you're not good at. I've found that doing something that either you're not good at or you're new at can be really helpful for pushing away some of that fixation so that you can focus on going slow. Like, for example, if you're, let's use a romantic interest, right? If you are really fixated on a conversation with somebody, you can't stop thinking about them. You can't stop obsessing over whether or not they're going to respond, what they're going to say, and you can sense emotionally that the conversation is moving faster than it should. Go practice the guitar, or play chess, or something that you are not good at, or it doesn't even really have to be something that you're not good at, but just a skill that you have to focus on. Obviously, if you're just a savant at the piano or something, don't go play the piano, because it's not going to help. You're just going to keep thinking about it. So do something that requires your focus. And for me, this used to be driving, but I have found that I have become a lot more comfortable driving, and so I'm still able to hyperfixate on things while still competently driving. For me, recently, this has been playing my strum stick. I get really overwhelmed with a certain line of thinking and a certain hyperfixation or thought. I will just go play my strum stick. I will try to practice power chords and just do something like that. I used to just do a mindless activity, and that wouldn't help at all. That wouldn't help me even slightly. But doing something that you really have to focus on really helps, because you can activate multiple different parts of your brain, like I said before. That's really helpful for thinking about things and thinking about them logically, and especially when you have ADHD or some other type of mental disorder, you have a tendency to use the emotional centers of your brain first, and it can be really hard to shut those down. And so forcing yourself and getting into the habit of doing something that involves your mind will kind of force you to redirect into that logical frame rather than an emotional one. And that's really helpful, at least for me. Kind of the final thought that I really want to mention is it's okay to be as slow as you want, especially in relationships. I remember saying with an old friend of mine that if we were to start our relationship over again, we would take it so much slower than we did. That's a really, really important thing that I didn't really think about until recently. But if you are a young person or an old person. But if you're an old person, you probably already know. But I just want to tell you that it's okay to move slowly. You don't have to be the best at your job, or at least not right away. You know, you don't have to do all of these different things so quickly. You can't be behind on a path that wasn't meant for anybody else other than you. So just take your time. Slow down. You can feel your feelings, you can sit with your emotions, and you can think about things more importantly, and you can pray about them. So as you go throughout your day, take time. Just take time. There's no rush. While you're taking time, be kind to yourself, because I love you and God loves you more. Have a blessed night.